And we're live. Welcome back to another edition of Fiercely Local with Marine Bank. My name is Sean Williams, and I am honored to have joining me in the studio today the man, the myth, the legend, or as I like to say, the man behind the brand, Kyle Gies. Many of you have probably at some point eaten in one of his restaurants, so it's an absolute honor to have Kyle Green join us. Kyle, welcome.
Hey, Sean, thank you very much for having me. Thanks for the invite. This is quite the pleasure. Thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. So, you've got a lot of people have been to your restaurants, and I will say that they are absolutely top notch. If you haven't been to one, do yourself a favor, treat yourself. But they're not all the same. And I mean, at this point, how many restaurants do you have?
We have 3. Number 4 is under construction, and 5, 6, and 7 are on the books.
Oh wow!
So we're moving along.
So, but they're not all the same. So you have different concepts for different restaurants.
All different concepts. We're building our second Oak and Ember Steakhouse. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of building a little bit of a chain, if you will. Mm-hmm. So that's the only one that overlaps as far as concepts. But the other ones are all different. Yes.
Yeah. So Oak and Ember is a steakhouse.
Yeah, high-end steakhouse. Nice. Anniversary, birthday, or fine dining restaurant. So yeah, we're doing a second one of those in downtown Stewart now. So
awesome. The other one is on Becker Road.
The other one's on Becker Road.
Got it. And then you have another restaurant in Port St. Lucie. St. Lucie West.
St. Lucie West Boulevard, right by the Mets Stadium. It's our Oyster Bar. Mm-hmm. So it's a little more casual, a little more kind of like, that everyday neighborhood type restaurant where you can go get great oysters, great seafood, really awesome cocktail program. And it's kind of just, it's a nice place where you can go relax, but it's maybe, just, it doesn't smell like beer when you walk in stuck to the floor, you know what I mean, kind of deal. So you can still go catch the game, and we've got the red zone and basketball, baseball, whatever you want, and kind of have just nice, great fresh food. So
very good. And then you have your signature restaurant on Hutchinson Island, right?
That one, man, that's crazy. I refer to it as the old wooden ship. I actually started there as a line cook when I was 17. And I worked there until Gene and Francis closed the town. It was a whole nother name and ownership at that point, obviously. It sat empty for about 10 years. It reopened under another individual. I was his executive chef for the first year that he was open. I left, didn't enjoy working with him. Mm-hmm. I was gone for about 4 or 5 years, where I was with Darden, I was with Capital Grill, Eddie V's, Yard House. I was with 3 of those concepts for about another 4 or 5 years. And then when I heard that the individual was going out of business, I got in touch with the landlord and said, and this was 2017, and I said, hey, remember me? Here's my idea for this restaurant. Mm-hmm. I grew up here. I worked here when I was 17, et cetera, and he loved it. And we opened September 2017. And just got to work and never looked back. So
what did that feel like, that you worked in this restaurant years ago to come back and now you own it?
It's bizarre. It's amazing. It's humbling. It's exciting. But I mean, I was just there last week, and I was talking with some guests we had in. And I said, I said right there, and we're sitting at the table, and I said right there in that corner of the room, which was like 3 feet away, I said I used to set up Sunday brunch and work the omelet station here, when
Wow.
20 years ago. And so it's really humbling, I think is the best way to say it. And it's surreal. It truly is. Every day, I'm still not used to it at this point in time. I drive in, I see the name on the sign. I'm like, what is going on here? It's wild, but it's amazing. It really is.
Now, you said you have a few more concepts coming.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about those?
I could talk a little bit about it. It's slightly classified.
Understood.
But I will say we have. I'm really excited about an Italian chop house that's going to be a little bit along the same lines as Oak and Ember, mm-hmm. from just a quality and an experience standpoint. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of coming down the pipeline. It is going to be in the new Heart at the Park at Tradition. It's going to be a pretty large restaurant right in front of this giant heart sculpture that they're working on.
Wow.
We found out about this project just about a year and a half ago, and I was super excited about that and everything that's going on in Tradition. Mm-hmm. And we have a Latin rotisserie chicken cocktail bar concept that I'm really excited about, because it's going to be the total opposite of Oak and Ember and the Italian concept, where it'll be a little more similar to the Oyster Bar in the sense of where it's going to have a great happy hour, super laid back, simple, easy, and fun, and we'll do a lot of pickup and to go food, but we'll have a nice sit down area, beautiful patio, awesome open kitchen, and really going to kind of give myself and our chefs a little bit of room for flexibility, creativity. Some of the food in South America has really kind of just been overlooked, in my opinion. That's kind of why we pulled a little bit of that element into our Oak and Ember concept, and I think just it's really going to go well. I mean, there's not a continent on the planet that doesn't eat chicken. Well, maybe Antarctica, but technically, as far as where there's population that doesn't eat and enjoy chicken, and it's just roasted chicken is one of my favorite dishes. Simple, just easy and flavorful, and you can do so many things with it. So with the idea of with the rising costs of food, with the rising costs of labor, with the rising costs of everything else, no matter where you go, it's expensive to go out now, right? And it's not like it's going to get cheaper as time goes on. So this is really kind of a way for us to give our community, a restaurant where we can really manage and control the cost of labor, give them great quality food, great quality service, without having to really, charge a tremendous amount, and still be proud of the product we put out, having all natural products and things like that. So I'm really excited to see where this takes off. It's not the fast casual like a Chipotle. You're still going to be able to do a nice sit down dinner service, have a great time. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to really be a change in style of restaurants for our area, that you might see maybe in like a San Francisco or a San Diego or something like that. So really kind of a little West Coast inspired with a little East Coast attitude.
I like that.
And a little South American flair. So
there you go.
I'm really excited about that.
That is exciting. I'm already getting hungry, though. I mean, now I think a lot of people know your brand. I mean, it's a very popular brand, and I appreciate you coming in to get to know the man behind that brand. But I haven't known you, but maybe about a year now, I think, is when we first met. So for the
we
benefit
have a lot of
mutual
friends, though.
We do, and for everyone's benefit, who is Kyle Green?
That's a great question. I'm just the guy who likes to work hard and work with great people. I like to, I might just do good quality stuff. I learned early on, my father, when he ran his business, it was all just about persistence and integrity. And even though it's a totally different field, he was in boat lift manufacturing, and I'm in, I guess, food service. I always wanted to just, do that and do it well. And I don't need to be the biggest. I just want to do the best and be the best. At least, give our best every day, right? Because if you give your best every day and you're competing with yourself from yesterday, ultimately at the end of the day, you will be the best in your fields, in your circle of influence, if you will. So that's really that. On the personal side. I just had a baby a year and a half ago. Her name's Emmy. Fiance, beautiful stepdaughter. So it's like, it's just, like to, work great with my work family and come home to my family and kind of just hang out and relax. And, when they go to sleep, maybe watch some movies, play some video games, and start it all over tomorrow. So that's, I'm just, a lot of people are like, got you. I'm like, I'm just a normal, everyday person who likes to just kick back and relax and fire up a good steak and a bottle of wine and that's it. So that's pretty much it. You like to travel and that's really about it.
Born and raised here?
Born and raised, yeah. I was born at Martin Memorial, which is now Cleveland Clinic. Grew up in Port St. Lucie, right over by the C-24 canal. In high school, my parents built a house out in the PGA, out in the reserve, which is right by the Oyster Bar, which is why I'm like, I know this area and I know what we can do here. And I graduated from Centennial High School, class of 2004. So if there's any, how did we do it back then? 04, right? How do we do it back? I don't remember, but graduated 04.
I'm class of 95, so
okay, all right, yeah. I don't know.
There wasn't even a Centennial High School yet.
No, there wasn't. Yeah. And I've moved away, like, with work. I lived in Miami, Orlando. I was out in San Diego for a couple years. really just, learning the trade and learning the craft, getting to work with Emeril Lagasse. I got to work with Darden at a really high level, which, like I said, was Capital Grill, Eddie V's, and Yard House. And that was just, it was amazing. Some really great chefs down in West Palm when I was working in culinary school, or when I was working and going to culinary school. So it was great to kind of get out and experience what's going on in some of these larger areas and be able to kind of bring that back to our area, which was kind of perfect timing because that's right as our area really started to have some tremendous growth, since the 07, 08,
right.
Era, let's say. And so that's really kind of helped us kind of be on the cutting edge of the restaurant industry, in our area. So it's been great. So, but I was very happy to be able to come back home and, do what I love in the area that I love. So it's very, very fortunate.
I think we're all glad that you did. I mean, and hospitality is a notoriously tough business. I mean, what made you choose the hospitality world?
I started washing dishes at Lefty's on Port St. Lucie Boulevard when I was 15. And then they let me cook chicken wings when I turned 16. And I just, I loved it. I'm an only child. And you just walk into work and all of a sudden you have, 40 brothers and sisters and they're all crazier than the one next to them. And, just the energy of a restaurant when it's busy to me was just like, it was so addicting. Like I just loved it and I loved the challenge. And then, here I am 16 years old, washing dishes, cooking chicken wings, doing some bar backing, and I'm making like $500 a week. Most of it's cash. And I'm like, this is like, I get paid for that, Right. and I'm like, and I get to eat, I'm learning how to make like cheeseburgers and like Alfredo sauce. And I'm like, this is awesome. And so I loved that intensity, that energy, that camaraderie. And then, as I kind of went through culinary school and developed my career, I started to really understand that I really enjoyed, being able to share special experiences and memories with people that they're not going to forget, their anniversary. Maybe they proposed at our restaurant. Maybe it's their surprise 50th birthday or 40th birthday, or their kids are back from college and they got some special award or valedictorian, or like we share these really intimate moments with our guests, and they're not going to remember who served them. They're not going to remember what they ate. They're going to remember where they were and how they felt. And when I realized that, I said, "Oh wow, that's phenomenal." And that kind of got me hooked. And then it got a little bit deeper for me when I realized the power of leadership, and when I realized that I, as a chef at the time, have so much influence on helping people enrich their lives and better their lives. And in the sake of time, I had a really awesome dishwasher out in San Diego, and I tell this story often. And by the time I was done working with him, he was a travel trainer on his way to being a sous chef with Yard House. And this kid was 19. He was pregnant with his second kid. He lived in Tijuana, rode the bus from Tijuana to the border, got from the border, walked to the next bus stop, got on that bus stop, and then got in his car that he left on the United States side to drive another 30 minutes to work. Wow. And then did the same thing in reverse. And then when he parked his car, he'd take his bicycle out of the trunk of his car, ride his bike to the bus stop, put the bike on the bus, wow. And I was able to help impact this individual's life in a positive manner through leadership. And so then I realized, okay, wow, I can not only just help the people coming in and celebrating themselves, I can really help people and give them a path. And that, to me, I was hooked. I said, okay, this is it.
You make the hospitality industry sound noble and heroic. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's often thought of that way. But
it's not. It's on the flip side of that. I also call it the last version of piracy that's still around, because it's kind of like that as well. So, which is what makes it fun. But no, you're 100% right. It's not thought of that. It's kind of thought of. It can be thought of, in a very negative connotation, but there's a lot of professionalism and amazing things in our industry that I think most people aren't aware of it, so they don't know to think of it. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you don't know, and and some of the best things that I've got to experience in my life have been through this industry and traveling and this, that, the other, and so it's more than just burgers and fries in a sense. Yeah.
Right.
So it's absolutely awesome. Even if you are serving burgers and fries, know that it's more than that.
Right.
Because it's awesome.
Right.
And it's really amazing. So
that's awesome. If you hadn't gotten into hospitality, what career path do you think you might have chosen?
you know what? When I was in high school, I scored really high on my ASVAB, and the military, the Air Force specifically.
That's when the recruiters don't leave you alone. Then.
No, I thought they were going to kidnap me. Honestly, I was like, oh shit, I'm pissing off the wrong people. So I don't know if I can say that.
Sorry, they beep it out.
All right, good. I scored really high on my ASVAB. My best friend went into the Marines. I was looking at Air Force because I wanted to be a pilot and possibly even an astronaut. So I was really looking at that, and finally I just said I don't want to do. I took the lazy route. I'm sorry, I was like I don't want to do that. I love cooking. I love this career, this industry. So let me give this a shot. And if in the next few years if I don't like it, I'll enlist and do that. So I think I probably would have done something in the Air Force range. If I would have gone that way, I would have done my darnest to go the fighter pilot route and then go from there. My grandfather was in World War II. His whole family was, actually, and he was one of four. Him and one other brother were the only ones that came back. Oddly enough, he was a cook for the Marines over in Europe. My uncle was pretty high and retired with the New Jersey National Guard. They're all from up there. So I was thinking about going that route. So I think I probably would have gone that way, or I would have gone like engineering. I love the math, the numbers, problem solving, puzzles. I think that's why I like the restaurant industry, because I get to cook and be creative. I don't get to cook as much as I'd like to anymore, but it's every day it's a different problem. Every day it's a different puzzle. It's the same, but it's different, and it's there's an art and a science to it that it's awesome, and it's always so fluid and so changing that I enjoy it.
Well, what would you say is the biggest challenge or obstacle you've had to overcome?
There's a lot. COVID was probably COVID or Yelp, one of the two. Or a little bit of both. COVID. Let's just go with COVID.
Yep, that's fine. Fair enough.
Because COVID had so many other. COVID wasn't the problem. It was all the little problems that sprung up from COVID.
Right.
All of a sudden, you have all these secular parties of your guests where everyone has all their. It just brought so much division.
Everybody
and so
had
much
an
turmoil.
opinion.
Yeah, everyone had an opinion, and everyone was basing it off of whatever news channel they watched or whatever. And it was so. Us being in hospitality, we don't know how to deal with that. We're just trying to please everyone and do the best job we can for our guests. And all of a sudden, our guests literally come preloaded with these whatever right, wrong, and different dispositions, and don't do this, do that, do this, that's violence. We're just going to pick what we believe to be best, right, and as honest as possible, and we're just going to go with that. And if we lose some people along the way, there's really nothing else you can do, and so that was interesting. And you had the people, the mask bandits over here. You had the unmasked bandits over here. Then this one vaccine, no vaccine. This social distancing over, and there's people still screaming about social distancing. It was. We didn't recognize how to handle these issues as an industry. Right?
There was no handbook. Yeah.
No, it's just like, well, what do we do? And finally, I said, listen, we got to take the path of least resistance and take care of the people that are here, and we can't worry about the people that are saying, well, we're not going there because, whatever, for whatever reason, pick it. They probably weren't coming anyway. So let's take care and let's just make our team happy, take care of our guests. And we just gonna have a laser focus on that.
Well, clearly you got through it, and you've expanded since then.
Correct.
I mean, what do you think ultimately made the difference for you?
I think it was just being true to our core values, and fortunately, all of that turmoil and stuff was essentially. I don't want to say it was temporary, but it was a flare up. So by just being calm, cool, collected, and persistent, and staying with our core values. As all the stuff subsided and the news cycles changed, and people got to be mad about something else. We were able to get back to our core of just serving food and beverage and hospitality. And I think all of a sudden, people started to really appreciate that again, because with all the new normal and the chaos that was going on, they were able to come into our restaurants and just forget about it for 2 hours,
Right.
and have dinner with their loved ones and their friends or their spouse or kids or whatever it is. And we were kind of a sense of just relief to our guests and our team. For our team's out in Publix and people are yelling at them and this and that, and they get to come to work and kind of just breathe. And I think that just hit a common human desire within our team, our guests, et cetera, like, this is just so nice to be here, that resonated. And as the world evened out a little bit, I think we were able to kind of just ride that wave even stronger. So
well done. And I guess you've had a pretty long career preceding the ownership
Yes.
of restaurants. I mean,
Yes.
is there a particular moment that you can think back to that you were most proud of?
Yeah, it was definitely I want to say when we were taking the sign down from the restaurant at the beach, when we took it when it was mine and we were renovating, and we were at the point where we were taking the old sign down and putting our sign up, and we were kind of like putting our flag in the dirt and claiming our territory, if you will, because I knew the goal was to really use this as a platform to build a great business and a great future for all of our team, to whatever level they wanted to do. I've got people on my team now that were servers that are director of operations, and there were dishwashers and they're chef de cuisines now, and they're head chefs, and everything in between. And it's really amazing, because I was proud of that growth and opportunity, or to have that opportunity and to say, okay, the last 15 years of my career, it's led to this one point, and now we're here, and that was just the beginning.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So I think it was that, and then I think a very, very close second to that is some of these individuals. My bartender, who's now the GM of the restaurant on the beach. Our dishwasher / prep person, who's now our head chef 5 years later on the beach, giving these folks their promotions. And there's probably 20 people in our organization like that giving these folks their promotions and seeing them continue to execute at a high level, to provide for their families, and live a life that they had only hoped and dreamed of, and knowing that there's still more to go from there, I think is it's, and it'll probably soon be my more my proudest moment, even more so than being able to put the sign up. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's awesome seeing that.
What advice do you have for young people that want to pursue a career in hospitality? I mean, it's a hard business, but
it's a hard business, and so it's a hard business, but it can be easy if you study it and you persevere. There's going to be bad days, and you can't let one bad day, like with anything, you can't let one bad day diminish years of what you've been doing or the future of it. I think in our mentality of our society now, it's so simple for people to have a bad day and just say, no, I'm done, that's not for me. And the durability, I think, of people has been reduced a lot on a large scale. And so I would say, to the young folks out there that are looking to do a career in hospitality, really dig into all the different avenues that there are. When I go to the schools and we talk to the culinary programs, and I did something last year at the Mid Florida Credit Center, the Civic Center thing.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And so we did a presentation, and it was awesome. There's multiple schools. And I said, guys, you guys may not know. I mean, I didn't know when I was in high school. I was like, I go to Tropical Smoothie, and that's like, where do I go to eat, right? Like, what can you do? And like, there's so many avenues that you can go to. You want to travel? Go work for a hotel. You can go around the world. Go work for a Marriott. You can go work in Singapore in the kitchens and get paid to travel. You can be a chef on a yacht. You can be a chef on a cruise ship. You want a vacation all year round? get in the hospitality industry. You want to get paid to vacation? Do that, you know? And so it's I think it's really important that they understand the scope of how many options it can be, because it's not just, you know, working at that you know, that sports bar down the road, you know, that could be great. It's awesome. If that's what you want to do, it's a great opportunity. But if you want to, you know, do something and you can't just figure it out, like I couldn't, there's so many things. So I'd say really look at the scope of all the different avenues there, you know, and the larger companies, they have so many different cool things, you know, you know, Darden, I mean, just go on their corporate website for job postings. They've got in-house legal counsel, they've got IT developers, they've got software developers. I mean, the demand for skill sets in our industry outside of just, you know, chopping and cooking is tremendous. And there's never been a better time for people to get into the restaurant industry, in my opinion, because the pay has never been better. And it's only going to get better because the skills are becoming more and more scarce. So we have to continue to compete as employers to pay these wages at all levels, to compete with the Amazon warehouses, the you know, and provide the benefits and this, that, the other, which we do. But there's never been a better time. So to go do it, get a great skill set, and even if they did it just for a few years, just to learn how to deal with the public, man, that'll pay off exponentially.
So you also are involved in the community.
Yes.
You want to talk quickly about that?
Yeah, I you know, I don't really know where to start. I guess I'll start with last weekend. 25 United and Operation 300 got a big group of people together. They went over to Punta Gorda, and they were doing hurricane relief stuff. And I saw Stephen Layton's post, and I texted him and I said, hey man, I go, I'm sure you guys are going to need some food cooked. I said, let me know, and I'll, if you guys need help, we'll be there. And so myself, Percy, our Vice President of Culinary Operations, Kareem and Russell, two of our managers, one from Oka, one from the beach, we got together, we went over, we set up at their base camp, which was cool. It was right in the Cheney Brothers warehouse in their parking lot there. And we cooked for all their warehouse guys, we cooked for their relief people that were going out and, you know, putting tarps on people's roofs. They were, you know, doing all the chainsaw work, getting the trees out of their homes and out of their cars. And, you know, just being able to participate and you know, help those that were helping those. I can't run a chainsaw. That's like, you want me to cook 500 people banquet? No problem. You want me to run a chainsaw? I'm going to chop my foot off. So I'm like, I'll help you how I know I can. Byron Russell, from the owner of Cheney Brothers, he was there, and he's like, whatever you guys need at the warehouse, go get it, you know, make it happen. And so we did that. You know, during COVID, we stepped up and we fed about 15,000 meals for free in about 3 weeks to the community. We were able to step up and get people toilet paper and bottled water and pasta and sanitizer as best we could. And, you know, we were selling cases of chicken out of the fairgrounds. I mean, we were doing all kinds of cool stuff. And in between that, you know, we work with so many of the nonprofits. You know, a lot of them that help underserved children. You know, domestic violence and veterans kind of seem to be our core focus. And I mean, whether it's a dinner that we donate or we sponsor some of the events, or even if we're just donating a gift card to put in a raffle basket, you know, we're involved, and you know, there's really not a time where we say no to those in need, because the community's great. I grew up here. I want to make sure that I give back to a community that's you know given us and our team so much. And if you go on our website, you'll see at the bottom there's a whole list of all the organizations that we work with at a really high level. You know, Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County is kind of one of our top ones. Operation 300, Elevate Hope, and Miss Rena's House of Blessings. I mean, the list goes. The list goes on and on, right? And hospice, the hospice of Treasure Coast, we do a lot with, but we have a running ticker on there. And you know, between the dinners we donate that go to the auctions, the checks we write, the community involvement we do. I mean, we're doing the Taste of Martin County Big Brothers Big Sisters. I'm like, get all the restaurants there. I think there's like 40 people coming tonight from our team to go pass things out, support, contribute, participate. But on our website, we have a thing, and I think the last we calculated was about $300,000 we've been able to help raise for the community for all the different events in the last few years where we've been able to give back. So that's that's
Well,
exciting.
on behalf of the community, thank you for everything
No,
that
my
you
pleasure.
do.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you come in and talk to us, and I appreciate that. And thank you for watching Fiercely Local with Marine Bank. Until the next time.